This is CBC Radio 1 in Cape Breton. We're going to try to put our hands on the business report in this half hour. So we have given a call to Toronto and hoping that they can send that up to us. But in the meantime, we are going to start a little conversation that we've been wanting to have for quite some time with Angela Iannetti. This track is brand new. It's called A Small Town. And we'll have a listen and have a little chat with her this afternoon on Main Street.
I grew up in a small town on an island by the sea. Coal dust on the clotheslines on a windy day would be. Hobos in the boxcars heading to greener lands, with nothing in their pockets but the dust from working hands. Sydney Mines, New Waterford, Place Bay and Reserve, any town you pick, and these would be the words. Miners working underground bought from the general store, paying on the balance what they bought the weeks before. No one had very much, but everybody knew that skeleton key that fit your door, well, it fit the neighbors too. Sydney Mines, New Waterford, Place Bay and Reserve, any town you pick, and these would be the words. Days were oh so simple then, not like they are today. If something broke, you fixed it. It wasn't tossed away. And friendships would last a lifetime, and everybody knew when someone had a secret, it would soon be local news. Sydney Mines, New Waterford, Place Bay and Reserve, any town you pick, and these would be the words. Didn't have a lot back then, but what we had was more, as everyone was closer, not living behind locked doors. And if you had that person you called friend, well, you had them in the beginning of life, and you had them till the end. Sydney Mines, New Waterford, Place Bay and Reserve, any town you pick, and these would be the words. Sydney Mines, New Waterford, Place Bay and Reserve, any town you pick, and these would be the words.
You're listening to CBC Radio 1 in Cape Breton. Angela Iannetti growing up on the north side and with us this afternoon. She has been nominated for her music. She has been given places on discovery stages and done quite a bit of work this summer bringing her music to the public. You probably know her best as a caterer, but this is another artistic endeavor that she's involved in. Angela, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Wendy.
Tell us a little bit about why you decided now was the time to start pursuing music as a public kind of option.
Well, I'll tell you, Wendy, I didn't plan on doing a public kind of option. It just kind of happened because people started reaching out. And I did this for myself. I did the first album, Full Circle, for me because I just felt, almost 60 years old at the time. I thought, time to do something that's your passion and you kept quiet for too long because of insecurities. And at 60, you gain weight, you get age spots, you get wrinkles, you get gray hair, and if you can get past all that, well, if somebody doesn't like your music, that's easy to deal with. So I thought I had to do this for me. So I did. And the album took off, and it got 3 nominations for Best Blues, Jazz, and Inspirational, which totally blew my mind. I thought for sure they had the wrong person. I thought they made a mistake. I'm dead serious. It just filled my heart with such a wonderful feeling to think that at that age that I could follow my dream, and it's inspiring for so many other people in so many areas of life. So different various individuals reached out to me, like CBU, asked if I would do a celebration of life for a young international student, Digit Jose, who tragically lost his life in a watercraft accident. So I did a couple of solos a cappella, and it was very touching, very moving. I felt very honored to be part of that and represent Cape Breton. Did some fundraisers for St. Joe's Parish, headed by Kay Batherson, with some amazing artists like Jen Rowland, Jason Kemp, Andrew Doyle, Alan Gale, the list goes on. I followed through, and I decided I wanted to do a funny video, so I hauled in family and musicians, and we did a hysterical video, which I sent in to Christmas Daddies, but they couldn't use it. They were already filled, but they really liked it and asked if they used it on social media. So I said, yeah, sure. Listen, it brings a smile to somebody's face. The Regional Hospital Foundation, I ended up opening up for them with an hour-long segment with some of my original poetry, one I had written for Brenda Gale, who raised a lot of money for a good cause before she passed with her battle with cancer. I did Full Circle, my album. I did Puff the Magic Dragons for the kids. Todd Ingram accompanied me with that. I attended the awards brunch in Truro, which just amazed me, because when I heard my name being announced and complete strangers in the room clapping, that just did me in. So just all these things, Wendy, like I released my Christmas CD in December 21 with a concert that I cooked a 3-course meal for. And I brought in Jason Kemp, helped me again, Jennifer Rowland, Todd Ingram, Riley McGuinness. I did another concert and just for other musicians, and brought Laurel Shannock, who was originally from Ontario and bought a place down on the North Shore, brought her in to do dinner music on her harp along with Jen and Jason and Todd, and it's just been a roller coaster.
I want to ask you about that inspirational category, because that is one of those categories that opens up to a lot of artists that might not get a stage necessarily. Having had that nomination, what did you learn?
Oh my God, I've learned so much. I've learned that there are so many different varieties of music and different types of inspirational songs. I think when we think of inspiration, a lot of people think of something that has to be gospel. No, it certainly doesn't. On the album, which I'm doing right now, that's coming out, there's some inspirational music on it, and I think that it's going to appeal to a lot of different individuals and different styles of music. So, I've learned so much. This album that I'm doing now, I mean, the music industry is just popping right now because there's a lot of government funding out there. I personally haven't accessed any of it. I believe, it's my responsibility to leave whatever's out there for new and upcoming young artists who don't have the finances to help them. If I've got a few dollars in my pocket, to use for myself, I'm going to access that and leave something for somebody else.
I want to ask you about, of course, you do have a very successful career as a caterer. I mean, that's the other, and a lot of people, there are dinners at the Amera Center, and people know that Angela's making them, and it is something for which you are known. How do you, is there ever a competition for your time?
Well, there's a big competition, so because of that, I didn't get to do anything when COVID hit. So December we got shut down at Amira. We were the only event that got to run that night because it didn't exceed 120 people. We had actually people call to see if we had dinner tickets left who were attending Jimmy Rankin at the Savoy. And so I was blessed. I'm telling you, I had an angel looking over me that night, because if I had to just swallow all that food, 3-course Italian, I would have died 1,000 deaths. But it went beautiful. And, then we got shut down for a couple of months. So I thought, okay, what am I going to do? So I ended up in Nashville. And I ended up performing with the Songwriters Circle at the Commodore. And I didn't expect that to happen. It was just like a fluke. I sent out one email to one place, and they responded. And I ended up opening up January 2nd, 2022. And as I began to sing a cappella, because the person who was supposed to accompany, they had an accident in their family, and she messaged me, said, Angela, I'm so sorry. We've had an accident. I won't be there. So I said, oh, well, I'm here. I'm going to sing with or without anybody. So I did a cappella. And it started to snow, these gigantic snowflakes, as I started to sing. So I stopped. I said, oh, wait now, look, finally. I ordered that special effect all the way from Cape Breton, Nova Scotia. It finally arrived. It cost a lot. So it broke the ice, and I relaxed. I stayed away for a while until my businesses opened back up, so I got to do a lot of writing. January and February, songs and poems. Those poems and songs that are going to be with this album. Every time I do an album, I release a book of poetry complimentary with it. So there's a book of poetry coming out, as well as 2 new albums. And so my time when I got back, I had to pull 2 businesses together. So in order to do this recording, with recording studios being so busy with this influx of capital that's coming in to help Nova Scotia music develop, I think it's wonderful, because there's a lot of talent out there, beautifully talented people. I had to pull 3 recording studios to do this particular album. So, I needed some vocal tracks done in Cape Breton, so I called on a friend, DS Productions. He did a vocal track for me. I arrived in Halifax between work, and I had to have some appointments there through work and medical appointments as well. So I had to call on R&B, Ross Billard's Productions, to help me. So he worked on these 3 songs, and then I have my nephew, of course. Family is important. You got to give to family, and she's been very influential in all of this. So Chris has done a lot too. So I had 3 studios pulled together for some of this music, and they all have different ideas, and it just shows how much interest they've had in me as not just a friend, but as a musician, and they all collaborated to make it beautiful. So that makes me feel really special. And I've been very fortunate, because now I have people saying, okay, listen, can you entertain for me? And can you cater this as well? Oh, yeah, and I hear you do MC work. I just finished up Heritage Festival in Sydney Mines. Yeah. I ended up MCing with Scott Boyd. That put me over the top. That felt so good. A little nobody from Atlantic Street below the tracks in Sydney Mines is singing with a band with amazing people like Jennifer Rowland and Laurel Shanik and Jason Kemp and Todd Ingram. And we brought Fred Bluefarbian, who owns Blue Star Traders. What better person to bring in for a Heritage Festival? He's a child from parents who survived Holocaust. And we were all on that stage melting pots of immigrants from other countries who came here to feel safe. So I felt we were the ultimate expression of heritage, and I released Small Town at that festival.
Which is the one we just heard. Can I ask you about Silver Tongue Devil?
Oh, my God. Oh, listen. That is such an interesting song, because a friend of mine asked me about this guy she really liked. And I thought, he's handsome and he's smooth, and he's every woman's dream. I mean, he's the whole package. But his heart belongs to nobody. He loves you as a friend, but, unless you want your heart broken, I think you better move on. So I said, I tell you what, I'm going to put my feelings in a poem about how I feel. And I like this guy, right? And she said, okay. So I wrote the poem, and I said, oh, that's a song. I'm making that into a song. So I messaged her back, and I said, listen, here's your reply.
Well, let's let the audience listen. Angela, thank you for being with us today.
Oh, listen, thank you so much, and it's been a pleasure. And Wendy, I have to tell you, you have been so supportive, not just to me, but so many people in this industry, and you are an inspiration. So I want you to know that.
Oh, well, thank you so much. You have a wonderful evening.
Thank you, Wendy.
That's Angela Iannetti, and here's the track she was talking about. This is Silver Tongue Devil.
Thank you, Wendy.
A middle-aged lady, once pretty and young, sits patiently waiting till dusk turns to sun. The tall, dark-haired lover she hoped that she'd see, the man that she fell for, but he'll never be. Her heart longs to be touched by a warm, gentle hand, a consort word of affection, just now and then, a bit of old-fashioned romance like her parents had lived when lovers grew old and walked hand in hand. She clings to the few words he said as he fled, leaving her empty and cold and naked in bed, remembering the good and forgetting the bad. His life filled with lovers, all the women he's had. Night after night and day after day, he's the silver-tongued devil who continues to play with the hearts of his lovers, filled to the brim with hope that he'll change and love only them. But merely, just merely, lust lives in his mind, never letting his guard down, his lovers in line. And one after one, and night after night, he'll continue to play as for him it feels right. He'll continue to play as for him it feels right. She clings to the few words he said as he fled, leaving her empty and cold and naked in bed, remembering the good and forgetting the bad. His life filled with lovers, all the women he's had. Night after night and day after day, he's the silver-tongued devil who continues to play with the hearts of his lovers, filled to the brim with hope that he'll change and love only them. But merely, just merely, lust lives in his mind, never letting his guard down, his lovers in line. And one after one, and night after night, he continues to play as for him it feels right. He'll continue to play as for him it feels right.
Angela Iannetti here on Main Street, CBC Radio 1 in Cape Breton.
I hear you got a new girlfriend, the rumors all around. You're with her on the boardwalk and all over town. I hear she's popular. Ooh, I hear she's hot. I hear she travels with you almost everywhere. When people see you with her, well, they stop and stare. I hear she's popular. Ooh, I hear she's hot. fancy movie star, driving in your little red sports car like Greta Garbo. Oh man, she's hot. She got a body that's sure to stop a clock, 'cause I hear she got a wiggle and a bouncing step and walk. Man, she's so popular. Oh, she's hot. I guess the next thing I hear, you're gonna take her on a trip, ask her the magic question and slip her the ring. Oh man, she's popular. She must be hot. Well, some say she's a dog, they even call her a bitch, but I guess that's the jealous one, you know, the one you give the slip. She's not so popular. Oh, she's not so hot. Well, my baby Bella, she's here by my side. She is a one-man woman. I take her for rides in my little red sports car. And she's hot. I take her for walks on a long black diamond leash, and everybody sees her, man, they say she's a tease. My baby Bella, Bella is her name. Well, my baby Bella, she's the hottest dog on the block.